Hi there, Kim Louie, real estate broker in Kitchener, Waterloo, and thank you very much for joining me on this brief video where I will be discussing the additional cost associated with purchasing a home. Probably the most common question I get from my buyer clients is, Kim, how much money do I need to buy a house? How much cash do I need on hand to buy a home? So what I've done is I've arbitrarily chosen $350,000 as the price for the home to base our calculations on. And the first cost obviously would be the 5% minimum down payment that most lenders would require in order to qualify for a mortgage. So a 5% down payment on a $350,000 home is a whopping $17,500. But that's not it. There are other expenses, which I alluded to earlier and I'll be discussing, which would be covered in what I call a cushion of 1.5%. And generally what I'll tell my buyer clients is add 1.5% of the value of the purchase price on top of the 5% for a total of 6.5% to give you that cushion to pay for those incidental costs. So that additional 1.5% would work out to $5,250 for a grand total of $22,250 as the bare minimum cash on hand required to buy a $350,000 home. Land transfer tax may apply, that's above and beyond, so that's something we'll cover a little bit later. The first fee obviously, well maybe not so obviously, would be the fee for mortgage insurance. So anything less than a 20% down payment, the government requires the buyer to purchase what's called default insurance. And the default insurance, the amount you have to talk directly to your lender about, is rolled into the mortgage. It's not cash out of pocket, but on closing you will be required to pay the HST on that service. And that's something that comes out of pocket, paid on closing to the lawyer. So you need to factor that in. And that would be covered generally in that 1.5%. As well, in that 1.5%, you can expect to be able to cover your legal fees, your lawyer fees, which will range around $1,500 or $1,600 depending on the complexity of the purchase, and will include the legal fees and things like adjustments. The adjustments actually be above and beyond, but generally will be covered by that 1.5% as well. And those are things such as prepaid taxes, prepaid utilities by the seller, which again won't be put into the mortgage, and you'll have to pay out of pocket for those things. Something else that lenders may require is an appraisal fee, somewhere around $400, and you will have to pay for an appraiser to go through the home and basically guarantee to the lender that the home is being purchased at a fair market value to make sure that the funds that they've lent to you are safe and their investment is safe. Some lenders will pay for it, some will not. Home inspection is something that we've covered it in a previous video, and if you haven't seen it yet, please check that out. The home inspection fee is going to be between $400 and $500 depending on the size of the home, and it's something that's valuable, gives you peace of mind, and ensures that you don't have any nasty surprises down the road. Property surveys, depending on where you are in Ontario, they're quite popular and considered almost necessary in Toronto. Depending again on the type of transaction, you may decide to get one. They're between $400 and $500. Sometimes they are available, they're on file, the sellers will have them to provide to you. But do keep that in mind. If one is required, then that cost is going to be in that range. If you're purchasing a rural property, there are components of the home that a general inspector won't be able to give you an opinion on or properly evaluate, such as wells and septic systems. So you will have to pay for water testing and inspection of the septic system. Again, you pay the appropriate professional. They'll come out, give you a report, give you some peace of mind, and make sure you don't have any nasty surprises. If you're purchasing a condominium, your agreement of purchase and sale should always include a condition that it is conditional on your lawyer reviewing the status certificate. The status certificate is $100. It's a regulated price across the board in Ontario, and it will include things like the budget and the rules and regulations for the condominium, both of which you need to know. You need that information to make sure it's what you want and it's a sound investment. Another fee would be mortgage application fee or mortgage broker fees. Now, again, you'll have to speak directly to them to find out what the costs are and find out, basically just ask them, how much will it cost me to apply for a mortgage through you? What are your fees? So those generally are the fees that a lot of people don't think about. They do require cash. You don't roll those into your mortgage, so cash on hand is required, and that's why I say about 1.5%. So one of the things I didn't cover yet is the land transfer tax. This is going to be a hefty tax by the provincial government. And on a $350,000 home, the tax is going to be $3,725. And there are calculators online. You can speak to your lawyer or speak to your realtor to get the definite number depending on the price. But on that home of $350,000, that's what you're looking at. So the total, if there's land transfer tax applicable, because as a first-time home buyer you do get a credit, would be just over $26,000, right around $26,000. So what you thought was a minimum of 5% of $17,500, you actually need about $26,000 cash on hand in order to be able to purchase a $350,000 home. I know there's a lot of information I covered here. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have, more than happy to help you look for the home that you're hoping to move into and make memories in. And that's what I do for my clients. I protect their interests, I educate them. So I look forward to hearing from you, and happy house hunting.